All right, Shalom. This is Hara by Yasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp, located right here in Jacksonville, Florida. Before I begin, I want to say Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Harakah Kwadash, Ma'amaf. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and the elders. Shalom to you, Akim, and Agwatim and children that believe in sincerity and truth around the four corners of the earth. This is going to be a quick lesson dealing with, I just watched that movie called Civil War. All right, watched the beginning of it last night. um, I wanted to read the 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 plot of this movie that's coming up called Civil War. Now, it says it's called Civil War, and it says the plot of this movie is it imagines a third term president ruling over a divided America, and follows the journalist driving through the war-torn countryside on a mission to land his first and final interview. So it's basically the movie is covering this journalist that's traveling, trying to get to DC. Everything is like the purge. Everybody's going crazy. They got bombs going off. People burning each other in the streets with tires and shit. Murdering each other. The police trying to help, but they get blown up. It was crazy, man. So this is how they imagine it, and they were trying to make it to the White House so they can talk to the president before the nation would try to. They were trying to assassinate the president. All right. They wanted to remove him from office. Now, it's deep because let me just see something real quick. All right. So this is the word civil etymology. Let me go back, and it says civil, like Civil War etymology. It stands for the word. It comes from the word civis, relating to citizens or households or families. All right, so there's going to be a civil war amongst the people, the citizens, rising up against their government, also known as sedition. All right, so sedition. This says sedition meaning what? Violent strife. All right, violent strife. So, yeah, sedition and civil war dealing with the citizens rising up against their oppressor or their government. Sedition, directly from Latin, seditious, full of discord, factious, mutinous, man. From seditio, civil disorder. See that? Citizens, disorder amongst the citizens. Rebellion, mutiny. So they're going to rebel against the government. And everything's at play. And people going to go against their neighbors. One scene in the movie, they had the journalist needed some gas. So they pulled over to this gas station. And there was a bunch of dudes out there with guns guarding the gas. And they told them they couldn't get any gas, man, unless they had a pass for it. So she made a deal. So I'll give you $300 just for a half a tank and maybe 2 cans of gas. And he was like, man, whatever. That 300 can only buy me a sandwich. And she was like, what about Canadian dollars? And he said, okay, he agreed. So that shows you that the dollar's going to be of no value. It's going to be worse than that from what Esau can imagine. All right, let's get that real quick. Let me go there first, matter of fact. This is an order, a command from the Holy One, Yahweh. And this is what's going to happen upon this earth. Let's go to Revelations 6 real quick. It says, and I behold, Revelation 6 and yeah, verse 6. It says, and verse 6, there you go. It says, and I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, and that voice that's in the midst of the four beasts, that's Yahweh. All right, giving out the commands. Now, it says here, because you can read Revelations 4. Right, here you go. Revelations 4. It says, where was that? Verse 1. And after this I looked, and behold, a door was opened in heaven, and the first voice which I heard was as it were of a trumpet talking with me, which said, Come up hither, and I will show thee the things which must be hereafter. And immediately I was in the spirit, and behold, a throne was set in heaven, and one sat on the throne, and he that sat was to look upon like a jasper, looked like a so-called black man, dark brown, and a sardine stone, and there was a rainbow round about the throne. It's talking about Yahweh. And the sight like unto an emerald green. And round about the throne were 24 seats. This represents the elect. And upon the seats I saw 24 elders or ancients sitting, all right, or royalty, clothed in white raiment, and they had on their heads crowns of gold. And out of the throne proceeded lightnings and thunderings and voices. And this represents the judgment that come out from Yahweh. All right, so where was it at? It says here, and there were 7 lamps of fire burning before the throne, which are the 7 spirits of Yahweh, which represent the angels, and also basically the Holy Spirit, but it was separated into 7 churches, but it's all from the same Spirit. And before the throne there was a sea of glass like unto crystal, and in the midst of the throne and round about the throne were 4 beasts full of eyes before and behind. So it's talking about the angels being amongst the archangels, being amongst the other spirits up in heaven. All right, and having chariots. So now let's go back. So in the midst of these angels, there was a voice, and that voice is Yahweh on the throne, giving out judgments and orders. Revelation 6 and let's go back again. Verse 5. All right, it says, and when he had opened the 3rd seal, I heard the 3rd beast say, Come and see. All right, it says, Come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. Now, that 3rd seal, that's what time we're coming up to. Now this deals with what? Oppression. All right. Balances represent the yoke or chains. Now the first yoke, said balance is, the first yoke was Esau putting literally a physical yoke upon our neck with slavery. Now they want to do that again with these digital yokes. All right, the New World Order. Now when they go to push for depopulation and total control, as they're doing, this is going to happen. And I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts say, that voice in the midst of the 4 angels. All right, and they don't look like animals. 4 beasts just means creations or creatures. All right, a measure of wheat for a penny. So this was the Most High is commanding upon this earth. For a measure of wheat, for a penny today would be like a drachma or um, a day's wages in the Greek Empire and the Roman Empire. I think a denarius. Um, so a measure of wheat, which would be like a measure would be like one loaf of bread, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, like 3 loaves of bread for one whole day's of work. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. So the Lord saying, what? Touch not his anointed. So what's coming here is going to be famine, right? Let's get that real quick. Because this is happening, man. And this could all happen from the war that's going on with Israel and Iran. Because literally controls right now at this point the oil market. When they talk about war, the oil spikes, which we will see that at the pumps. Energy, it will be an energy crisis here in America. Electric bills, everything will skyrocket. Gas, all right. You got interest rates. You got the dollar crash. You got the BRICS, de-dollarization. There's so many things that are at the helm to bring this place, America, down. So it says here, let me get this real quick. I got a bunch of scriptures coming to my mind before I move on. Right. This is Matthew 24. And let's go to Mark 13:8. For nation shall rise against nations. So nations, we see a nation rise against nation. Russia, Ukraine, America, they all rising up against each other. Iran, everybody's taking their position, their stance of what side of the war they're going to be on. The next ones to rise up, North Korea, China. You'll hear about them soon. And kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be earthquakes in diverse places. We've seen the earthquakes, especially here in America, in New York. And there shall be famines and troubles. So that's what time we're coming up to. Jacob's trouble, which is going to lead all the way up to the missiles. All right. So, and there shall be famines, man. Famines, lack of food, lack of bread. People go to the gas station, lack of resources. Famines. That's what that guy said in the movie Civil War. He said, what? I can't even buy a sandwich with that $300. It's because how much was a day's wages, and it used to be like $100, $400, but but now a day's wages can be almost $1,000 sometimes. There's people out here getting paid $1,000 a day, or $500 a day. So it's gonna cost that much just for a loaf of bread. What's that? Hyperinflation. All right. So this is what's coming here. It says, and there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginning of the sorrows. Beginning of the all hell breaking loose out here. It's crazy, right? So, and you watch this movie, and you get an idea of how it's going to be. Ecclesiastes 12:1. Remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth. Now this is a parable where you have to picture a person with an old body that didn't turn to the Lord in time. Waited till he got old and in his dying years to turn to the Lord, which is too late when the body is of no use. So the same thing with the prophecies. The Lord saying turn to him early before it's too late, before this place waxes even worse. Ecclesiastes 12:1. Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. Just like an old man would say they're not seeking any desires or pleasures in their old age. But when all hell break loose and the prophecies are aged and happening, people are not going to be seeking the same desires that they're seeking right now. It's going to be war. People are trying to save their ass. Look at Gaza. All right. Well, it says, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain, before the destruction, man. All right. So, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble. See, right now you don't see Biden and them Trump trembling, but they're going to be trembling when they see all these nations like Iran, Russia, China really moving against this place, and the dollar crashing, and civil war, and people threatening the president. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, the police was going to be trembling. As you see in that movie Civil War, they were getting blown up and everything. And the strong men shall bow themselves. All right, the scripture says it's going to be men crying with their hands on their hips like women, lamenting. And and they're going to sell out to this new dollar system, man, new digital system. And the grinders shall cease because they are few. It's not going to be any work. And those that look out the windows shall be darkened. That deals with fear and destruction. Looking out the window in darkness, meaning fear. All right, now looking out the window, it's a nice day outside. Now people are going to look out the window and not even want to go out there. Also, when they shall be afraid of that which is high, meaning these mighty nations coming down upon this place, and the judgments of Yahweh, and fear shall be in the way. See, fear is going to be in the way. Instead of people's plans and their dreams and their desires, all nothing but fears, man. They're going to be nervous going up the street because of explosions or rapists or murderers or thieves or police or tyrants or gangs or fire, explosion, war, famine, diseases. That's going to be nothing but fear. The Lord said He's going to bring all their fears upon them. And fear shall be in the way, and the almond tree shall flourish. That represent the prophecies flourishing. Everything the Lord said is going to happen. 2nd Ezra 15, 2nd Ezra 16, right? And the grasshopper shall be a burden. That's what I wanted this for. The smallest thing is going to be a burden to this place. All right? The smallest little thing. And that's when the keepers of the house going to tremble when they see the dollar crashing, really crashing, and civil war breaking out. People rising up against the government. All right? And desire shall fail, see? Because man goeth to his long home, that means to the spirit realm, dying. And the mourners go about the streets. Because the spirit, when it dies, it goes back to the Father. And the body is left on the ground unless somebody buries the body. So nothing but concrete here in America. That's how you know those bodies are just going to be left there. There's not going to be any person to come and pick up those dead bodies. People are going to be trying to save themselves, and the service is going to be out of commission. Look over there in Gaza, there's bodies everywhere. So, all right, Civil War, man. Let's get that real quick. 2nd Ezra 15 and 1. Let's go to 2nd Ezra 16 and 2. Go 1. It says, "Woe be unto Babylon, the Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria." These are all spiritual terms for America, but also it's talking about basically the whole world. All right, this is judgment coming upon the whole world, World War III. Not just America, but all the nations. But the main destruction is going to be here in Babylon. It says, "Gird up yourselves with cloths of sack and hair. Bewail your children and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand," man. So all these nations are going to be brought kind of to a low point, even China. But the destruction is going to be in Babylon. It says, "A sword is sent among you, and who may turn it back? A fire is sent among you, and who may quench it? Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away?" All right, so these plagues are being sent out upon the earth. This is the Most High sending His command. Now let's get to the point. 2 Ezra 15:1. "Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, the almond tree budding." So warn our people of what's to come, and that the protection from that is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, the one that commanded it from the heavens. He can also command, according to Psalms 91, that you be protected and covered and taken care of. He's going to give command to his angels to keep thee in all thy ways. All right, and that's what we're praying for. So we speak into the ears of our people the words of prophecy, not solutions like Nate and IUIC and them talking about. No, we need prophecy, man. Warnings, detailed prophecies. And the solution would be turning to Yahweh, calling them the proper name. All right. It says, "And cause them to be written in paper." So those prophecies were written in scripture. So the scriptures is full of what? Prophecies, doctrine, history, truth. "And cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true." So these prophecies are faithful. It's going to happen. And they're true. Or the Lord said, "Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity or disbelief of them trouble thee that speak against thee." So 2/3 that speak against us, the mocking. People see you and they like, he said, what's up with them? Why they staying away from everybody? You know, but we know, what does light have to do with darkness? We don't hang around with 2/3. Even when you do, it's like you're uncomfortable because they don't see what's coming. They're not, and it's like seeing a storm coming and they're not getting prepared. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna get to the point. Let's get to the point. All right, so this scripture here is basically telling even the elect that we should expect troubles to come. But you got people like Nate and them saying we're not going to be in the tribulation. But the tribulation is here, it's coming. And the Lord telling us in this chapter, 2 Ezra 15, we should expect troubles to come, just like Yahweh Shai told us. This is the beginning of sorrows. All right? And we got to make it through what's coming. So I'm not going to read this whole chapter like I want to, but I'm going to get to the point. 2 Ezra 15 and 11. "But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof." So this time the Lord going to destroy all the land, because ancient Egypt, the whole land wasn't completely destroyed. All right, so but the plagues that were brought on that place, and how the Lord destroyed Pharaoh's army and sent chariots to deliver us, and sent Yahushua. Well, all those plagues, the Most High commanded for those plagues to happen So he knows how to protect us from it. So these same plagues that are coming on this place, famine, death, murder, destruction, uh, disease, warfare. Well, the Lord is going to protect his elect from what's coming. All right. But it says 11, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. So 2/3 are being led right to the slaughter. And I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. So the elect are going to be taken out of this place because we're going to need to get out of here. All right. And he said, if it were possible, they would deceive the very elect, and that's why the Lord going to have to get us out of here. You know, because of that destruction that's coming here. It says here, it says Egypt shall mourn. So America is spiritually Egypt. That's why I said it was different terminologies. In the beginning of the chapter, spiritually talking about America as well. When it says Egypt, Babylon, Syria, it says Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that Yahweh shall bring upon it. So the Most High had different plagues for the ancient Egypt. He got different plagues from this Egypt. All right, so he's going to smite Egypt with plagues as before, and he's going to deliver us with a mighty hand out of the second Egypt. And he's going to deliver us from a place that's spiritually called Egypt, Sodom, and Egypt. That's America, man. Revelation chapter 11. All right, so they that till the ground, so all the business people here, the farmers, corporations that keep this economy going, they're going to mourn. They should be smitten. So the mirth of the land is going to be gone, the riches, the dollar, everything's going to be, cursed. And they that till the ground shall mourn, for their seeds shall fail through the blasting and hail, and with their fearful constellation, man. So even their investments, the harvest, that's what that represents. People on the farms, they're going to have droughts, like right now in America. The seas are corrupted, thanks to Bill Gates. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, man. That's civil war. It's part of it. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hand, man. Swords, the modern day swords is guns. They're going to have knives. They're going to have everything, bombs. Instruments up to destroy the flesh. So nations, people rising up against each other, man. Militias, Republicans versus Democrats, Americans versus immigrants, however you want to look at it. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. So it's going to end with destruction. And one people shall stand up and fight against another. That's civil war. And swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men. See that? Civil disobedience. Civil rebellion. Like in this movie, Civil War. All right. And invading one another. Now you had people running all over the place, shooting and killing each other. They had one guy wrapped up in car tires, and they poured tar all over him and burned him up. So that's coming back. Lynchings and shit is coming back. It's gonna be all hell out here. Martial law. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes. So they ain't gonna listen to. That's why they said, if Texas in the movie, They were like, if Texas wants to come back and be a part of America, then we'll let. It's like, whoa. So they're gonna separate. Just like now with that border crisis in Texas. All right, everybody gonna be standing in their own pride and their own set of thoughts and plans, and they're gonna go against the central command, which would be the president. Look at Florida with DeSantis. They do everything contrary to DC. All right. So all these states, they're gonna start separating because that's all America is a bunch of states that came together. Originally, it was 13 colonies. The West Coast came in later. All right. So those 50 states is gonna be separated. Now, it says, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their own power, man. And they're going to stand in their own power. With that, people are going to be getting their own justice, militias, standing on their constitutional rights. All right? They're not going to look to the government for any protection or to feed themselves anymore. People going to go out and get it themselves. And the course of their actions shall stand in their power. What's that? Just like in the movie, coups are going to happen where they try to take down the president. All right. What they call them? Coups, military coups. And a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able to. Just like in this movie, which is a portrayal of real life events that are to come. They couldn't go into Philadelphia. He said, yeah, we're trying to go to D.C., but you can't go to Philly. You can't even go get nowhere near it. If you try to go there, you're going to get shot. So you got to go around it. You got to go through Virginia, West Virginia, and go up to D.C. See, that's how it's going to be. Worse than that, though. All right. But a man shall desire to go into a city. That time coming. You're going to have a need to be able to get out of one city and have to go to another one. But you're not going to be able to get into those cities. They're going to have them blocked off. And shall not be able to. For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid, man. All right, so, yep. Now, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. All right, so that's basically all the states standing in their own power, their own pride, and each one being part of that mystery, the mother of harlots, man. All right. So, where was I at? Right. So yeah, because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, man. So each city in this place, the great city, America, is gonna be troubled. And the houses shall be destroyed. It's gonna be missiles flying, man, like in Iran and Gaza and Israel. And men shall be afraid. And if the men afraid, you already know the women and the children gonna be afraid. But it's gonna be so bad that the men are gonna be afraid out here. They're gonna be afraid for their families and everything. And a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. See, in that fear, a man still not gonna pity another man. They're gonna your neighbors, all the neighbors you see hanging with each other, partying, barbecuing and shit, and these folly days. You see them outside with each other, where they're gonna be the same ones tearing at each other's door to kill each other when all hell break loose. All right. That's why I see right through it. They go, hi, neighbor. Yeah, okay. You ever watch The Purge? People are opportunists. So a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, man, no pity, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, man. Just like they walked into one building and there was a dude in there on this movie and he was like going crazy or he was hurt, something. He was sitting in the middle of the floor. He was in military uniform, and these journalists that had guns as well, they walked into the room, they saw him sitting there, they didn't even help him. They just shot him. And the woman, the little girl that was with him, she was coming to grips with all of it, like being desensitized to it. She was seeing people dying and getting shot, and it was people having no mercy for each other. So a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. So Americans not gonna have pity upon each other. All right, that's what the Lord said. He's gonna put the Egyptians against the Egyptians. Spiritually, today the Egyptians are Americans. But shall destroy their houses with the sword, man, with the gun, the sword, and spoil their goods. See, they're gonna want food because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. All right, so yeah, man. So that's prophecy. I'm at the dare now get this day started. But yeah, check out that movie Civil War. It should be coming out in a couple of days. I had early access to it, but um, it's kind of dry because knowing the prophecies, you know that man can't even vision clearly, completely what's coming. You know, only the scriptures can kind of clarify on what's to come in detail. But man try to depict it in their especially Esau in their movies, and this is a pretty good close depiction of it, man. Cause they know Civil War is coming, you know, and it's not gonna be just something quick like what happened in Texas, little arguments. No, it's gonna be a moment in time to where this is going to be the standard, the status of America. They're going to be in trouble.